Hey, what's happening? I'm Claudio, and today I'm building some super strong shelves for some paint cans. Stick around, let's make it now.
The part of the bench that I use all the time is fairly organized, but I can't say the same about my paints, stains, and glues. It's always a mess trying to find what I'm looking for. I thought I would put a couple shelves above the power tools because it was unused wall space. I grabbed a few different sized cans to see how deep I needed to make the shelves. I measured them out and figured I needed 3 different shelves, one for the spray paints, which would be another video, and 2 for the rest of the cans. I dug through everything and brought up all the cans and organized them into like sizes. I also needed to know the height and width of each shelf. I rummaged through some old boards until I found 2 that would work. Using the table saw, I ripped each board down to width. The bigger shelf was 7 inches wide and the smaller one was 4.5. The bigger shelf didn't really have a good straight edge, so I cut it a little wide and then flipped it over and cut it down to its final size. I then took the boards over to the miter saw. I cleaned up an end, measured out 6 feet, and cut them to length. I also cut 2 pine 2x4s to 6 feet long. I laid out the boards and measured how long the supports needed to be. Back at the miter saw, I cut 5 supports for each shelf. This is where the supports would fit on the shelves. The easiest way to attach them would be using glue and pocket holes, so I grabbed my jig. The pocket hole jig is easy to use. First, adjust the drill guide to correspond with the thickness of the material you are using, in my case, 1.5 inches. Also, adjust the clamp to fit your board. Use the marks on the jig to fine-tune your stop bushing, then lock it down with a hex wrench. Clamp each board in place and drill your desired holes. I drilled 2 holes per board and repeated it for all 10 shelf support blocks. To attach them to the shelves, I used a speed square to make sure they were square and then glued and clamped them in place. With each block secure, I could drill in 2 pocket hole screws to lock them down. It's important to clamp the blocks down before screwing them in. If you don't, the blocks will move unintentionally. I laid the shelf down and drilled holes with a countersink. I could now screw the shelf to the top of the supports. I grabbed my stud finder and marked out where the studs were on the wall. I transferred these marks to the shelves and then pre-drilled holes for 3-inch deck screws. I marked a line on the wall to know the shelf height and then put in 1 screw. After leveling it, I screwed in the rest. I did the exact same thing with the smaller shelf. The 2 shelves were done and super secure, so I loaded them up with everything I had.
Here in the shop, I really don't care how things look. I want my workspace to be as functional as possible. All I needed was 2 shelves to put really heavy things. These 2 shelves are strong enough for me to put anything I want up there. At some point, I'll be making another shelf to hold all the aerosol cans, but I haven't quite landed on the design yet. Well, that's it for this week. If you like this project, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can follow me on social media at Make It Now Channel, and you can find all sorts of information on my website at makeitnow.tv. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.